Yo, what is going on, guys? J.Yumeko here, and today we're back with some more If My Heart Had Wings. It has been a full goddamn month since I posted a video on this game. So, just to kind of catch you guys up to speed, here's what's been going on. So, we are, I'm assuming, nearing the end of the game now. We are coming to a point now where Amane, our club senpai, is about to leave the school because she made a promise with the school and her father that this would be the time when she would stop being a super repeat student. And so we've finally gotten the plane to fly, and we've done a whole number of test flights, and now we're trying to fly past the clouds, this cloud anomaly that's happening, this wall of clouds. That's what we're trying to find. So the biggest mystery throughout this game so far has been Isuka, and we learned in the last video, I believe, that basically Amane had no real personal interest in gliders or anything like that, but she did admire Isuka's passion about gliders, so she kind of followed along. They had made their own glider, gotten it to fly, but then there had been a crash that presumably Isuka was involved in. And after that crash, Isuka left the school. So we don't know, but it was never really confirmed whether it was like, oh, she was just so badly injured, or, this or that. So we still don't know exactly why she left the school, but we do know that the crash they had was likely a part of that. So ever since then, Amane's kind of been carrying on Isuka's ambition, and then we came along, and now we're here. So that's kind of our goal right now, is to see this wall of clouds. It's a supposedly pretty random event, but knowing how these kinds of stories go, we're very likely to see it. Excuse me. Also, on one of my past videos, it was mentioned that the twin sisters who we saw way earlier on in this series, the two little blonde-haired, twin-tailed girls, potentially we can unlock their roots or whatever after our first playthrough. Same with Amane, which isn't necessarily uncommon. There's a couple of visual novels that do stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to catch you up on. So now you're up to speed. Let's jump right on back into it. Bang. The old garage, built in a quiet place behind the school building. It seemed that nobody was using it or looking after it. I thought there might be something interesting in there, so I sneaked inside. The first time I saw it, I just thought there was some weird object in there, and it didn't really pick my interest. The thing that changed everything was finding that photo. Hidden carefully inside a notebook, there was a photograph of incredibly pretty clouds. Could such a beautiful sky really exist? I almost felt like asking myself this. That's how great it was. But something was off. What's with this photo? Ah, I got it! Yes, this photo was taken from above the clouds. That's what was written in the notebook on the pages between the hidden photo. What great luck! We could, by pure chance, fly above the morning glory that has suddenly appeared above Kazugara. You might even call it a miracle. It was a wonderful experience. A morning glory. They flew? As I continued reading this notebook, or rather the flight log, I became more and more absorbed in it. This photo of the clouds was taken by people who were using this garage. They flew high above the clouds in an aircraft called a glider. For this glider that has no engine, to fly as high as above the clouds by only using the wind, I wonder, how does it feel to soar through the sky and fly? To fly above that beautiful passage of clouds? While thinking about that, I made up my mind. I would repair the abandoned glider and head beyond the clouds. The next day, I immediately revealed my great plan to my best friend. I'm pretty sure we're reading from the perspective of Isuka's journal right there.
The sun's starting to set. Shall we call it a day?
Ageha said that as I was taking a break from returning after a flight. Couldn't we fly one more time? We still have a bit of time before it gets completely dark.
There are no streetlights around here, so it'll be pretty dark even before the sun completely sets. That would make landing dangerous.
She's right. Even when we came back just now, it was hard to see the runway, and my sense of distance was messed up.
So like I said, that's it for today. Kotori, let's get going.
Ageha called Kotori on her cell phone. Currently, Kotsuri was by the winch.
So we're done for today?
Yeah, though the perfect wind for training has just started blowing.
It can't be helped. We shouldn't cause any accidents.
Senpai looked towards the eastern sky as she spoke. There's an orange sunset, the same as always. Looks like it didn't appear. A sign. The sky showed that nothing would happen tomorrow morning. I saw her face as she was gazing into the distance. It seemed filled with impatience. I can't really blame her. Since the winch came back, every day we've been doing as many test flights as possible. The glider needed some adjustments, but the main objective was Amane-senpai's and my flight training.
You ascended quite far today. What altitude was that?
Around 600 meters.
Wow, that's a new record. You've really got the hang of it, haven't you?
Yeah, but riding on the thermals is still pretty difficult. Thermals are ascending currents formed by air. Heated by the Earth's surface. They occur more often around areas covered in soil, asphalt, etc., where the temperature rises easily. Excuse me. By catching these thermals and riding on them, we can increase our altitude. However, the things we're chasing is invisible wind. It's not easy to catch. Also, after we successfully get on it, the wind is still unpredictable. Its flow and strength aren't stable and it may suddenly disappear. However, if we don't learn how to manage them well, we won't be able to reach the passage of clouds that stretches high in the sky. Amane-senpai was hanging her head with a blank expression. She was poking her pasta with a fork, but she didn't eat one bit. You don't like it?
No, that's not it. I'm just thinking a bit.
She smiled faintly and poked her pasta again. I exchanged glances with the Geha and shrugged my shoulders. Besides Senpai was Kotsuri, absorbed in reading the book that she borrowed from the library. Why don't you read that after you finished eating?
Yeah.
It's no good. She's not listening. Kotsuri was like this for quite a while. She's been researching about the Morning Glory. Ever since we started the test flights, Kotsuri didn't have anything to do except operating the winch since she was disabled. That's why she seems to think that she's useless. She was really involved in the construction of the main wings, so that's not true at all. But thanks to this, we have found out something important. A few days ago, after the farewell party...
This is about the natural phenomenon that occurs in Burketown, Australia.
Pestered by Kotsuri, Hibari-san translated the English book. It's a book about the Morning Glory. According to it, the clouds that appear above Australia can have a total length of around 1,000 kilometers. It doesn't have to be just one cloud, many can appear at the same time. When the sun rises and the air temperature increases, these clouds disappear. There's only around 2 hours until then. For the locals, this is a sign of rain. It's said that stormy winds are blowing violently underneath these clouds. The altitude of such clouds is about 1 or 2 kilometers. If you can ride the updrafts well, then it's possible to reach those altitudes.
It says that this is caused by a collision of the sea breeze and the land breeze of the weather front. At night, the air cools down, so the currents flow downwards. Then the inversion layer. When we understand the mechanism, it'll be easier to predict. But the terrain and weather conditions differ too much between Kasugawa and Australia. Aren't there any signs that would be easier to understand? Something like that's described here.
Hibari translated and read it out loud.
When strong, most moist winds blow from the north, and the eastern sky turns purple at dusk. It says that if water droplets appear in a fridge at a pub, it can occur the next day. Is there a pub anywhere around here?
Calm down. This is Australia we're talking about.
When the air temperature is low and humidity is high in the morning, there's a high chance it will occur. That's what it says. When the air temperature is low, humidity is high. At dusk on the previous day, the eastern sky was purple, huh? Wait a second!
Excited, Kotsuri opened an old notebook. It's a flight log written by the old members.
Here, look at this!
Kotsuri opened it to the page that described the day before that photograph was taken. In other words, the day before the Morning Glory occurred. It seemed that they also did a test flight on that day, and detailed information about weather conditions were recorded on the flight log.
When they did the test flight around 4 p.m., the air temperature was 23 Celsius. That's pretty low for a midsummer day. It says, after that, a strong wind blew from the direction of the sunset. It became quite chilly.
This was written in a remarks column. They went through the effort of writing it, so the change in the air temperature must have been quite significant. About the color of the sky, it doesn't say anything. The important thing was that the log was written without the knowledge the morning glory would occur on the next day. They wrote this without realizing that this was one of its signs.
This is a pretty big hint, isn't it? Yeah, thanks, Oni-chan. Fufu, you're welcome.
Since then, Kotori's been checking the weather forecast constantly. She's also reading books related to weather as if she was trying to become a weather forecaster or something. To summarize, there are 3 signs that indicate the morning glory may appear. 1. On the day before, a moist, strong wind blows, and the humidity is high enough for water droplets to appear on a fridge in a pub. 2. At dusk on the day before, the eastern sky turns purple. 3. It gets much colder than most summer days. Perhaps this is all complete nonsense, but that's all the information we have.
Hey, Oi, whose turn is it today?
I'm not sure. We decided that every day we'll take turns getting up before dawn to check the sky for those clouds, even if there aren't any signs the day before. Whose turn is it today? Oh well. I wonder whose turn it is. Oh, it's Kotori's. Got it. Isn't it Kotori's? I'm guessing that, that's one of the things that we'll be able to kind of like, choose a different path in, maybe once we complete the first playthrough, something along those lines. Kotori lifted her head as I said that.
Yeah, it is.
Well then, I'd better quickly have a bath and go to bed then. If the morning glory does occur, we'd have to fly right away. That's why we left the glider on the runway and just covered it with a sheet. Even if it doesn't occur, we can still start the test flights early in the morning. It's a little rough, but it doesn't look like it's going to rain anytime soon, so I have no excuses. There's no way we can let this 1 in a million chance pass us by. I can't sleep. I closed my eyes and rolled over in bed, but the sleepiness wasn't coming back. I got up and opened the curtains. The sky was still dark. I could see the flickering stars. I went outside. In the middle of the garden, Kotori was staring up at the sky. How is it?
Icon, it doesn't look like anything's going to happen.
I see. I also took a look at the sky. All I could see were the glittering stars. There was no sign of the clouds we were looking for. It was quiet. So quiet that I could almost hear the sound of the stars flickering.
Do you think it will happen?
Well, I don't know.
If it happened, this would be the best summer holiday ever.
Yeah. But even if it doesn't happen, it's already the best summer holiday ever for me. Summer holidays are always fun, but I enjoyed it so much this year that I think it's the best I've had to date.
Me too. I hadn't felt like this for a long time. I'm sad to think that summer holidays will be over.
Is there anybody that doesn't feel like that? Kotori shook her head.
Ever since I injured my legs, for me the end of summer holidays meant only the start of a new school term. The school that I hated so much was starting again. That's why I didn't want it to end. That was the only reason. But now it's different. I enjoyed the summer holidays so much, I don't want it to end because it was fun.
Summer will come again. As long as we're alive, dozens of times more. But this year's summer will end eventually. Having too much fun can be kind of bad, right? I think I'm going to be burned out by the start of the second term. Kotori giggled at my remark.
You know, I came to think of Isaka as my own friend.
Friend? Kotori nodded, looking quite embarrassed.
Isaka wrote in her flight log, "At some point I won't be here anymore," remember?
Yeah, I remember. She wrote a similar thing a few times.
When I read that, it kind of reminded me of myself. I felt the same way, that someday I'll leave this place myself.
Disabled Kotori, who didn't really fit into the class, was seriously thinking about quitting school around the time I came to the dormitory. Kotori, who constantly felt that she would have to leave, was so strongly affected by reading Isaka's flight log. So you mimicked her by making that list? She added her own points to the things I want to do list that was written by Isaka-san.
Yeah. At that time I didn't even have a single friend, so when I read Isaka's flight log I thought of her as my friend. This distracted me from my loneliness. Now that I think about it, it was pretty stupid.
That's not true. You're here now because of those feelings.
Yeah. That's why Amani-chan is a different story, but I also wanted to fulfill Isika's dream. As her friend.
I see.
Yeah.
I also feel like Isika-san was my friend. She was Amani-senpai's best friend and left the glider behind for us. Now I know that she was also like a friend to Kotori and used to comfort her in her loneliness. To Amani-senpai, Kotori and I, she is an important friend. That's why I also owe a lot to Isika-san.
I just confessed something embarrassing.
Why are you so happy?
I wonder. I just felt like talking with you, Aokun.
Because we're best friends? I said it jokingly, but Kotori cast her eyes down.
Well, maybe. Blush.
It bothers me a little that she was embarrassed, but I'm happy that she did accept me calling us best friends.
But the fact that I'm still here, having such an amazing summer, is all thanks to you, Aokun. Thank you.
Yeah. As I answered meekly, in my mind I replied, that's my line. If it weren't for Kotori, I don't think I would have ever come across the glider. And even if I would have, it certainly wouldn't have been that much fun. It's dawning. The eastern sky was faintly getting brighter. Shall we get breakfast ready?
Okay.
Everyone will be getting up soon, and another busy day will begin.
I'm hungry. Everyone's still out. At least you're all working hard. Is there anything in the fridge?
Quack quack!
Hi, Hat-senpai. What, are you hungry too?
Quack quack!
It's not food you're after? Then it's a bath?
Quack!
I see. It's quite cold today. I'll be fine even if I wear more than just underwear.
Quack!
Yes, your bath. Let's go.
Quack!
Looks like it feels nice. I'll take a shower later too.
Quack quack quack!
Hey, Hat-senpai, what's that?
Quack!
Look, the sky is...
It's purple.
Doesn't it look faintly purple?
Oh wait, who is that? Was that a Geha? Or a Kotori? It was.
Doesn't it look faintly purple?
The direction is...
East! Which means...
The eastern sky was bluish purple. We stopped tidying up after finishing flight training for the day and gazed at the eastern sky.
Is this a sign?
This was the long-awaited moment, but we were cautious not to get our hopes up yet. I'm not sure, but it didn't have that color until now.
Well, no wonder. Not since we started paying attention to it, that's for sure. The air temperature's 25 degrees centigrade. That's 3 degrees lower than yesterday. The humidity increased a little, and there's a breeze too. This could be it.
We all look at Amani-senpai. Senpai was staring at the eastern sky. She was motionless and silent. It was as if she was making sure this phenomenon that could be our sign was real, or as if she was praying.
Amani-chan!
Oh shit, that was Kotori.
Yeah?
It might occur tomorrow morning. There were 2 days left of the summer holidays. This was the time limit for Amani-senpai's activities with the Soaring Club.
Senpai? I know. Yeah, it'll be alright.
I poked Kotori and whispered to her. At times like this, it's Vice President's turn, right?
You're right. Ahem. Listen up, everyone. The morning glory will definitely appear tomorrow morning. Let's believe in this. That's why, regardless of whose turn it is, today we'll all wake up before dawn and prepare for the flight. Alright.
Clearly Amani's having not, I wouldn't say she's having second thoughts, but she's definitely having some doubt. 4 a.m. Don't make too much noise. Kaneko-san's still sleeping.
Roger. Raj! What? Kotori. Sorry.
We got up at the time when a person on duty usually would and left the dormitory carrying our things. There's still 1 hour before sunrise. We have to complete our launch preparations before then.
It's quite cold, isn't it? It's a little chilly when you're lightly dressed.
Senpai, will you be alright in those clothes?
Yeah, I'll be fine. Look alive, Amani-chan. Soon you'll be flying above the clouds.
Kotori, not so loud. Ageha, how's the sky?
I'm not sure.
The sky was covered in darkness. With the naked eye, we couldn't confirm whether there were any clouds or not. Anyway, hurry up. If we're too slow, we won't make it for dawn. When we reached the runway, we immediately began setting up. Right aileron.
Okay.
Left aileron.
No problems.
Next is the elevator. When I had a spare moment, I ate a rice ball that I'd made yesterday morning. I had to do something about my empty stomach.
Amani-chan, what's gotten into you just now? Sorry, it's nothing really. It'll be fine. I'm sure everything will go well. Here, have a rice bowl and chin up. Yeah, thanks. Aikun, will you manage?
I don't know. In the training, I finally figured out how to catch the thermals. The highest we've flown during practice has been 600 meters. We won't be able to reach the morning glory at altitudes like that. Suddenly, a strong wind blew.
Aikun, deploy the dive brakes.
Got it. Even when the glider is on the ground, if wind hits the main wings, it'll generate lift. With winds this strong, if we're careless, the aircraft might get blown away. That's why we're resorting to the equipment that's used to reduce the lift during landing. Even if the wind hits it, it'll be fine as long as only a little lift is generated.
It's suddenly become very windy. Maybe it's the influence of the morning glory?
In the book, it was written that when this phenomenon occurs in Burketown, Australia, raging winds are blowing beneath the clouds. It'll be a crosswind launch. Of course, with a strong wind from the side, the glider will be blown away. That's why a special technique will be necessary to take off. We haven't practiced it much, but we should manage somehow.
Look, it's dawning!
The eastern sky brightened faintly, and with it, the state of the sky became clear.
The clouds are over there!
On a dimly lit sky still before the dawn, a line of clouds have appeared. What could be called a morning glory was thin and delicate. It looked like it could disappear at any moment. I'm guessing that's it right there.
Kotori, prepare for launch! Roger!
Everyone quickly got into position. Amani-senpai and I got into our seats in the cockpit.
The crosswind is strong, Aikun.
Yes, I'll use full rudder from the start. I firmly stepped on the rudder pedal even though we weren't moving yet. When the crosswind hits the glider during takeoff, its nose will turn into the wind. This is called the weather vane effect. By steering in the opposite direction using the rudder, we'll be able to negate that effect. However, because the rudder has almost no effect until we pick up speed, we need to use a full rudder before launch and gradually release it as we accelerate. This is the first time we've taken off with such strong crosswind. This will be like performing without a rehearsal, but we have no choice.
Runway is clear!
Ageha let us know that there were no obstacles on the runway. Then she moved to the side of the glider and lifted up the main wing, a little higher than usual. The wind is blowing from the front right direction. If the wings were level during the takeoff, the wing from the side would slip under the right wing, messing up the balance. Hence, we need to launch with the right wing a little lower to stop the crosswind from going under it. To maintain the bank angle where Ageha is tilting it, I removed the control stick to the right to manipulate the ailerons. Takeoff preparations complete. Here we go, Senpai.
Yeah.
Senpai replied nervously. I put my thumbs up, sending the signal to Ageha outside.
Takeoff preparations complete. Kotori, launch!
Clang! The moment Ageha gave the signal, the wind started up without delay. The glider steadily accelerated. I pulled back the control stick.
I'm counting on you, Ai!
The glider flew into the air. Ageha, who was holding up the wing and running behind us, was left behind. Ugh! The glider shook like crazy when it was hit by crosswind.
Are you alright, Aikun? Amani-chan?
We're fine, I leveled it out.
Somehow we're alright. Roger.
As we accelerated, the ailerons started working, and we were able to keep the fuselage banked against the crosswind. Using the rudder, I turned the nose towards the direction of the incoming wind. Without the crosswind, the glider steadily raised into the sky. Our airspeed's really fast. Our rate of climbing is much higher than usual. Even if it looks like we're flying with the same speed, when the headwind is strong, the relative speed of the wind hitting the glider is different. This is the airspeed. When the airspeed's high, the lift increases, raising the glider up. Today, the wind was strong. The force of the winch pulling us was competing with the force of the main wings lifting us up, so the fuselage was shaking. Releasing! Just before passing above Koturi, who was operating the winch, I released the towing rope. Whoosh! Freed from the force that was holding us down, the glider was suddenly thrown up into the air. I immediately turned around to check if the towing rope had been detached. Release confirmed. The takeoff is successful. Okay. I checked the altitude on the altimeter. We were currently 300 meters above the ground. I looked up to the sky above. Outside the dome-shaped canopy, all I could see was sky. A sky changing from night to morning. Indigo, orange, pale yellow, purple. A complex image was painted by the rising sun, was spread as far as the eye could see. And there, in the middle, one long straight line of clouds stretched out. Amazing. Completely absorbed by it, I fixed my eyes on this spectacle for a moment.
What are those clouds? Wow, you're right, what are they? Those are very unusual clouds. They look as if someone painted them with a brush. If that was the case, it wasn't a skilled painter. That's not true. I think they're really pretty. It's a good painting. As always, you'll praise anything. Hey, Oni-chan. Over there. Something is flying? Could it be the glider we saw before? What are they doing so early in the morning, I wonder? They're flying, aren't they? I can see that. That's not what I mean. Then, aren't they going over there? Where? There to those clouds. It's so pretty. Yeah. It's so marvelous. I wonder how something like that's even possible. It really is a miracle. But isn't it a bit different compared to that photo? Yeah. Maybe it'll get bigger. Who knows? Where are Aokun and Amane-senpai? Wait a sec, I'll look through the binoculars. There they are. Where? Where? There, above the lake. It glittered just now.
Holding the control stick tightly, I somehow managed to maintain our altitude. The airflow is pretty damn rough. It's taking everything I've got just to keep our altitude. On days when the airflow was calm, I only had to hold the control stick lightly. However, in stormy skies like this, the glider was constantly shaking, like I didn't know when it could be hit with a sudden gust of wind. I had to concentrate solely on the wind that was hitting the fuselage. Are you alright, Aokun? I'm fine. More importantly, Senpai, could you search for some spots where thermals are likely to appear? Understood. Senpai looked outside the canopy to search for such places where thermals may occur. Clouds are used as markers to find thermals. They're formed when updrafts containing moisture are cooled high in the sky. Therefore, thermals are usually below them. I flew based on guesswork while keeping an eye on the variometer. The variometer is one of the meters in the glider. It tells us about the rising/descending rate based on changes in atmospheric pressure. A sudden reaction of the variometer can mean that we've entered a thermal without realizing it. No reaction, huh? The reaction from the variometer was slow. The glider was gradually descending. Found it! A cloud! Senpai shouted from the front seat. Where? 4 o'clock. Roger. I stepped on the rudder pedal as I pulled the control stick to the right and the glider turned. Ugh, the rudder feels heavy. When the ailerons and the rudder take strong winds, steering them becomes heavier, but in such conditions their effects become stronger as well. Is that it? The small cloud Senpai had found entered my field of vision. It was a thin, long cloud.
Please work.
With that wish, I flew under the cloud. We went forward for a while, but we didn't fly into anything resembling a thermal. After all, we can't see them, so we don't really know if they're there or not.
Where is it?
I turned once to face towards a different area, and then...
Whoosh.
Wah! Suddenly, the left wing lifted up, tilting the aircraft.
Alcon, right now! Yes, I know.
This wasn't the feeling of being shaken by a crosswind. A rising thermal grazed the wings. I immediately turned the rudder to the left. The variometer reacted. The glider was rising.
We entered a thermal.
When we confirmed that, I continued turning the glider. Thermals are like a pillar, stretching from the ground up through the atmosphere. In most cases, the strongest lift is in the central part, known as the core. Normally, as it gets gradually weaker the farther away from the center you go. If you want to climb higher, you have to get as close to the core of the thermals as possible. I turned the glider while searching for the core. The variometer told us that our rate of climb is increasing. We were gradually getting closer to the core.
Looks like we've entered the core,
said Senpai as she looked at the meter. I tried to keep the glider circling in the same area as much as possible to keep rising in the core of the thermal. Alright, we're climbing. Through the seat, I felt that the glider was ascending. It's jokingly called the Ass Master, but feeling all sorts of G-forces transmitted through the seat is an important sensation when piloting a glider. That's because things that inform you of the glider's reactions quickest aren't the meters, but your body and the seat that's directly connected with it. Not wanting to lose the response I was getting, I paid close attention while operating the controls.
They're climbing! Looks like they successfully got on a thermal. Aoi-kun! Aoi-kun is busy right now. Amani-chan, it looks like it's going well. Yeah, right now we're rising on a thermal. Our altitude is reaching 500 meters. Alright! It seems like the airflow is getting rough, though. How is it up there? It's pretty rough, but it's alright. Aoi-kun's doing his best. It seems like everything's going well. Keep it up! Go above the clouds! We really want to do that, but... Is something wrong? We'd rise a little higher and leave this thermal. Why? The lift is weak, and our climb rate is slow. At this rate, we won't make it in time. We won't be able to rise any higher here. The G-forces that felt so strong at first were gradually getting weaker. Even if we'd risen to a certain extent, now we were only maintaining the current altitude. If we stay here like this, the thermal might grow, and we might get a stronger lift. Well, if we consider the time, it's very likely that this will happen. Thermals are created because the sunlight warms up the Earth quicker than the air. Next, heat of the ground warms up the air above it, creating the updraft. Since last evening was so cool, when the morning sun hits the Earth, stronger and stronger thermals will start rising. But we didn't have time for that. If we wait a little longer after the sun comes up, the morning glory will disappear. We're leaving this thermal. Understood. As we gazed at the morning glory, still so far away in the sky, we flew out of the thermal. We've traveled pretty far, haven't we? Thermals are often thought to extend up through the air like a vertical pillar, but in reality they don't stretch straight up. Just like the smoke is blown by the wind, thermals also twist when hit by wind from the side. While we were climbing to the thermal that was blown to the side by the wind, we've moved quite far away from the morning glory. The morning glory doesn't just stay in one place either. While the roll shape is rotating, it is moving across the lake. If we get too far away, catching up to it with the glider will be difficult because the glider can only increase its speed by decreasing altitude. Increasing speed. I pushed the control stick forward, pointing the nose downwards. While sliding down on the air, the glider was accelerating. Cool. When the nose is pointed downwards, the ground always comes into view. Amane-senpai, who's scared of heights, stifled his screams. Senpai, we'll be fine. This glider will not fall. I'll make sure of that. Yeah. It's falling. No way! That's not true. It's flying normally. But the altitude's decreasing again. They might have left the thermal. In this situation, that might have been a wise decision. Thermal? Hey, what's a thermal? It's nothing. But like that, they'll keep descending. They have to find the next thermal quickly.
Grr.
We've caught up with it. But we've lost a lot of altitude. To regain the lost altitude, we search for the next thermal. In theory, they could occur more easily above areas where you can see a lot of soil or wide areas covered in asphalt, such as like parking lots. How about over there? Senpai pointed towards the runway from which we'd taken off. It was a wide area of soil lit by the sunlight. It certainly met the conditions that made thermals likely to occur. Alright. Huh? They're coming back? Are they planning to land? Oh no, are they in trouble? Aoi-kun, what's wrong? Did something happen? Don't panic, we're just searching for thermals. So you aren't in trouble? Nope. Phew. But this time it must be hard to find thermals. It would have been great if the clouds appeared above all the right spots. Are there any other signs? The only other thing is to actually try flying into them. But we're so close. Pass me the binoculars. I'll try looking for something. We certainly did get some lift above the runway, but it was weak. It wasn't enough to raise the heavy two-seater glider. It must be because the ground isn't warmed up enough to create strong thermals. Damn it, aren't there any around here? In the meantime, the glider was gradually descending. Whoa! Wah! Then the wind came. Perhaps due to the influence of the morning glory, the airflow was disturbed. The glider shook when it was hit by the strong wind, and the lift was temporarily reduced, causing a further loss of altitude. I started getting impatient. Should we just have stayed over there after all? But if we'd done that... The cloud from before was moving even further away from the direction we wanted to head in. Even if we managed to reach the altitude we needed, we would have been too late. How much time had passed since we took off? We hadn't noticed that the sky had gotten brighter and changed from sunrise to clear light blue. As I thought, looks like we can't reach it. Amane-senpai mumbled to herself, while gazing at the passage of clouds stretching across the firmament. No, that's not true. It's right in front of us. Yeah. We'll do something about it. Kotori and Ageha were also looking for clouds from the ground. We haven't reached the time limit yet. They're losing a lot of altitude. They can't find any thermals. Ugh, what will they do? At this rate, they won't reach those pretty clouds. Do your best, do your best. Even if they do their best, if no updrafts are blowing, it can't be helped. Oh, a black bird's flying over there. It would be good if the glider could also flap its wings like a bird. That's why I said they should have an engine. Huh? What is it, Yuri-chan? It looks like it's coming this way. You're right. It's coming towards us. Do your best, do your best! Strange. There are no clouds that could indicate thermals over here either. Do your best! You're right, Kotori! Yeah, no doubt about it. Even with the binoculars, it still looks tiny enough. In response to Kotori's transmission, we headed across the wind towards the Windmill Hill. Across the lake to the Windmill Hill. There should be some thermals over there, but there aren't any clouds that could indicate thermals. Even if there are thermals somewhere, it doesn't mean that clouds will always be formed. Besides, I think it could occur because the hill has a slope. So the thermals are more likely to occur above slopes? Yeah. The sunlight hits the Earth's surface diagonally, right? But if it's a slope, the light will hit it perpendicularly. This concentrates the energy, warming it more easily. The slope of the hill that we were heading towards was shining the light of the morning sun. How is it, Kotori? It's there! I found it! It's a lot higher than it was a moment ago. There's no mistaking it. It's a blackbird. We couldn't confirm that from where we were right now, but it seems that a blackbird was flying above the hill. Blackbird are birds that glide to high altitudes using updrafts. In other words, there's a thermal over there. However, that doesn't necessarily mean there will be enough lift to raise a heavy two-seater glider, but there was nothing else left for us to try. I couldn't think of anything other than aiming for that point. Eventually, the glider crossed the lake and approached the sky above the Windmill Hill. Thud. Wah! Wah! Suddenly, we were shaken sideways. The variometer told us that the glider had dropped sharply. We'd been caught in a downdraft? I panicked, but the next moment, we felt an impact. Yippee! We're rising!
Suddenly, I felt like we were being pushed from below. The glider started steadily rising. With a small delay, the variometer informed us that we were climbing. We got on a thermal.
It's pretty strong. We can do this, Senpai. Yeah. Aha! They're climbing! They're climbing! Hey, look, a Geha! Oh, you're right! Amazing, they've gotten that high already! See, there was one!
Yeah, fine play, Kotori.
I was praised. Does it look like they can climb all the way up?
We've got pretty strong lift. I think we can make it.
Take care of Amani, Senpai.
Leave it to me.
Alright, go beyond those clouds.
Yeah, on the wings that you guys have made.
Amazing, they've gone up so high. How can they fly so high just by using the wind? I can explain the theory. Do you want to hear it? No thanks. Even if you told me, I wouldn't understand it. Besides, I don't think that something like that can be explained with some theory. Without theory, something that big would never be able to fly. Amazing. Yeah, it's amazing.
Before we knew it, powerful thermals above the windmill hill had carried us high up into the sky. We were gradually approaching the morning glory. We're getting closer, Senpai.
Yeah.
The clouds that from below looked thin and scattered turned out to be actually pretty big when we got closer to them. I wondered how wide they were. They're big enough to completely cover the glider at least. They stretched far enough to cross the lake diagonally.
It's a little far.
Don't worry, if we can climb above the clouds like that, it should be easy to reach it. The thermal that we got on now was pretty powerful. As Amane-senpai had just explained, the slope of the hill is struck by direct sunlight, so it heats up faster than other areas. In other words, that means that the difference in temperature between it and its surroundings gets bigger. Without the difference in temperance, thermals won't occur. If such difference is big, thermals will be strong. The updraft that Kotori had found for us seemed strong enough to carry us far up into the sky. While this was helping, the sun was rising, and the air temperature was increasing. Morning glories last about 2 hours from dawn at best.
Come on.
I was impatient. However, if we overdo it and lose balance, we might lose altitude. While checking the rate of climb on the vertical speed indicator, I turned the glider, aiming for the most effective place, the core of the thermal.
Come on, baby!
Eventually, the glider that Amani-senpai and I were flying reached the altitude of our target, the morning glory. We ascended further and finally reached a position where we could view it above the clouds.
Oh, hell yeah, baby, we did it!
We're just gonna enjoy this moment.
Look, Senpai! Yeah, I can see it.
I knew she would be looking, of course. I just said it unconsciously. It's because I was so moved. Is there anyone who wouldn't have been moved after seeing such a spectacle? With the bluish-purple sky in the background, the passage of clouds shone, bathed in the pale pink sunlight. You can't express it with words like beautiful at all. Divine. That's the word that came to my mind. Gripping the control stick with my trembling hands, I steered the glider into the center of the thermal to gain enough altitude to fly above those clouds. I glanced at the front seat and looked at Senpai's face. Her clear, childlike eyes were opened wide as she gazed at the passage of clouds stretching across the firmament.
This is the view that Isaka wanted to show me. To bring me to this place.
Senpai, can you get the camera?
Oh, that's right.
Before we took off, Ageha had given her a digital camera. She asked us to take a picture if we managed to fly above the morning glory. We could see those clouds very well from here, so this was a perfect viewpoint.
I've taken it.
Well then, let's go. To that place.
Yeah.
Senpai nodded as if preparing herself. We didn't come here just to look at those clouds. We came to cross them over. Once we had enough altitude, I tilted the control stick and turned the glider. Finally, we were going there. The airflow here was calm and we could fly without being shaken by crosswinds. This high in the sky, there were hardly any clouds. The clear, light blue hues spread out in all directions. While paying attention to our rate of descent, we advanced through the transparent, bright space. We were approaching the passage of clouds. A rolling airflow surrounds those clouds. If we could get on it, we could fly along the passage of clouds as far as we wanted. We finally arrived. At last, the morning glory was almost within our grasp. The moment I thought that... Uh-oh. All of a sudden, it happened. Our view swung around and the divine path of clouds that should have been right in front of us went far off in an instant. Suddenly, we'd lost lift. In the blink of an eye, we realized that the glider was nosediving. I quickly pulled at the control stick, but there was no response. The field of view span around and we couldn't even tell if we were facing up or down. What is this? What's going on? A stall? However, there were no signs of it. It was just like the air had disappeared and we suddenly lost all lift. We were falling.
What is it? Did something happen? They're falling. No way! Give me the binoculars! This is bad! What happened? Aoi-kun! Respond! Aoi-kun! Aoi-kun! Respond! Aoi-kun!
I'm busy right now! Beyond the canopy, the surface of the lake was rapidly approaching. We were falling with the nose pointing straight down.
Aoi-kun?
I'll level it out! In the heat of the moment, I didn't know which controls I should use. Anyway, I tried to lift the nose up and stabilize the wings. Clang! A shock ran through the fuselage. It felt like it might get crushed. We, the pilots, also felt the vibrations passing through our whole bodies. For a moment, I thought that we'd crashed.
Are we alright?
Looks like it. The nose and the wings leveled out. The glider had regained lift and was flying. We were 200 meters from the surface of the lake. In a moment, we'd fallen almost 800 meters. If the recovery took just a few more seconds. My whole body trembled with fear and relief. Are you alright, Senpai?
Yeah, somehow.
Her shoulders were trembling, but she managed to reply. What the hell happened just now? There were no signs of a stall that would occur when the airflow gets separated from the main wings. It is said that it often happens without warning, but for it to occur in a place with such stable airflow...
We might have been caught in a strong downward draft.
You mean just now? If that was the case, it was pretty strong. Did things like that happen?
It seems that in the summer, near the centers of lakes or big rivers, downbursts can occur sometimes.
Downbursts are powerful downdrafts. If a huge mass of air falls to Earth in a downburst, it can have enough force to cause severe damage. Getting swallowed by something like that's pretty hopeless. We were in the vicinity of the center of a lake, just like Senpai said. We were so preoccupied with the morning glory that we lost sight of our own position. Because of the lake, the air cools down, so it's possible that a strong downward draft would appear. The glider is flying using the force of the air now. If that air itself falls down, it can do nothing but drop along with it. That might be the reason why we had lost the lift and fell so suddenly without warning.
Aoi-kun, Amari-chan, please respond.
We heard Kotori's tearful voice over the radio. We're alright. We've managed to level it out somehow.
What a relief. What on earth happened?
I don't know. Senpai said that we might have gotten caught in a strong downdraft. We almost fell into the lake head first.
Hey, Kotori's heart's gonna stop.
Sorry, but we're alright now.
Phew. What was that? What happened?
I don't know.
Malfunction? Or maybe they were caught in a strong downdraft. But, yes, it seems that they somehow managed to level it out before they would crash. Phew. That was dangerous. If they were a little late, they could have died. I guess it's dangerous for people to fly through the air. It is. For humans who don't have wings, yearning for the sky is a dangerous thing that requires a lot of courage. But that's why humans who can't fly are... Nissan?
Wait. Oh, wait, okay.
Nissan?
The morning glory. No. I quickly looked above.
The place we were at a moment ago was already quite far away. Thinking that we were in such a high place makes me dizzy. Let's climb one more time. It's impossible, Aikun. We won't make it in time. We don't know unless we try. As I shouted, I looked up at the sky. Before I noticed, the sunrise colors had disappeared, and the whole sky was now dyed clear blue. The passage of clouds was nothing like it was at the beginning. Now that it was exposed to the sunlight, it was becoming weaker and gradually disappearing. I turned the glider towards the windmill hill. If we caught that powerful thermal from before, we still might be able to make it. I will take Senpai to that place. That's enough already. But we weren't able to go to the place that I was able to see, even if just for a short time. The site that Isuka wanted to show me. That's enough. Senpai. Amane-senpai looked at the canopy at the clouds above. This is goodbye. Senpai's whisper, along with the passage of clouds, faded away into the sky. The last day of the summer holiday. Senpai. Hey there, Aikun. Why are you up so early? That's my line. You weren't in the dormitory, so I thought you might be here. I woke up early, but I didn't see Senpai anywhere. All of her things in her room were carefully tidied up. Yeah, I thought I'd tidy everything up before the others come back. I'll be moving to my dad's lab immediately after this. Today's the last day of the summer holiday. In other words, the day when Amane-senpai leaves the school. But we still have one day. But there's nothing left to do, right? Everyone was planning to get up before dawn again and go to the runway. We didn't think that a miraculous phenomenon would occur 2 days in a row. Even so, we wanted to believe that there was a slight chance. However, I knew that we wouldn't be able to do it again so soon. At that time, when we were caught in the downdraft and then forcibly pulled up, the glider sustained strong G-forces and parts of the fuselage were damaged. It's possible to repair, but flying is out of the question for at least today. Senpai's objective was to fly to the morning glory. Now that it's out of reach, there's nothing left. You haven't seen any of the others, have you? No. Why? Because this year's summer holidays were so fun. It's hard for me to leave this place. I'm sorry, but could you say something to them for me? I'm not much of a talker. Senpai looked really troubled when she said that. Then she started packing all of the arranged things into a large travel bag. She's been living here for a long time, so she has a lot of personal items. I'll help you carry it. No, it's okay. Those are mostly things that I didn't need anyway, so I'll just leave behind anything I can't carry. Senpai said while gazing at her still cluttered desk. As she was looking it over, her gaze stopped at the photo frame. Are you leaving this behind too? Yeah. She smiled as if she was saying that even if she took it, nothing would change. When I saw her slightly lonely smile, all my bottled up regret came to a boil. I'm gonna continue it. I'll improve and definitely fly to the morning glory in the glider that you and the others have made. Yeah. Senpai nodded, and after thinking for a moment, put her bag down and stood in front of me. She took my hand and held it gently. In the garage, which didn't have much air conditioning, it was as hot as a sauna. My hands were covered in sweat, but hers were as soft and smooth as freshly washed sheets. Then Senpai, with her childlike, but slightly more grown-up than yesterday eyes, looked straight at me. Thank you, Aikun. Thanks to you guys in the end, I was able to go to that place. To the sky that until now, I could only admire from below. When Senpai was saying that, she had a small yet satisfied smile. How about Isuka-san's feelings? I wanted to ask her if she understood the reason why Isuka-san had become so engrossed with gliders. Honestly, I still don't really know, but I've already decided to leave. So thank you. Senpai closed her eyes and hugged me gently. To tell the truth, I thought I was going to cry. Use the things in here however you want. The winch at the runway is also Soaring Club's equipment. What about these designs? The designs had been left on the drawing board. I finished them last night, but I don't need them anymore. I'm sorry, but if you don't need them, just throw them away. I couldn't. Well then, If I don't get going, I'll miss my bus. Senpai put her bag on her shoulder. She staggered slightly under its weight. I'll walk you to the bus stop. Okay, thanks. With a smile that was crisp and sunny as this summer sky, Senpai's left the garage behind. The garage where she secluded herself for so many years. Haha, it really was the most fun summer ever. The next day. The first day of the new school term. What are we going to do now that we don't have enough members? We can't ask Anchan to help every time we want to do a flight, so what should we do about transporting the glider? What should I do to get a pilot's license? Although we were disheartened from the feeling of loss after Amane-senpai left, we discussed our plans for the club on the way to the school in the morning. Kotori, Ageha, and I all felt the same way about continuing the activities of the Soaring Club. Next time we'll definitely fly there, to that passage of clouds. It was still a little further to our dream that we have still yet to fulfill. However, it was almost within our grasp. With that experience, it was no longer just a dream. We all had a precise objective now. All three of us could clearly imagine this in our minds. That's why we didn't have time to feel down. What awaited us was an unbelievable scene.
What?
What is this? Heavy machinery had smashed a hole in the wall of the garage and was crushing the roof behind the no entry sign. No way! What's going on? Kotori and Ageha were at a loss for words before such a horrifying spectacle. I stood there in a daze, frantically trying to grasp what was going on here. But there was no way I could comprehend it. The place where we were gathering and spending time together every day until yesterday had suddenly been destroyed. A garage is... My knees were trembling. It felt like all the strength I had left in my body, and yet an intense rage surged from within. What the hell is this? I approached the man who seemed to be the foreman, but he only had made a troubled face. Of course, these people had only been dispatched here by someone to do the demolition work, but I had no other outlet for my emotions. Why are you doing this? What else is there to do? This was what was promised from the beginning. Of fucking course. Tobioka was glaring at me as if to say that the workers aren't the ones I should be talking with. That is, if I have any complaints, I should talk to him. Oh, then I'll tell him all right. What's the meaning of this?
I've told you before, when the summer holiday's over, the Soaring Club will have its status revoked. This place was scheduled to be demolished.
But we're still here.
You don't have enough members to be recognized as a club. It was being tolerated until now, but we won't be so lenient any longer.
That's an oppression. It was accepted that we had the freedom to carry out our club's activities.
If you want to continue your activities, feel free. Only as a circle. Tobioka, you son of a...
Owie!
I almost jumped at him without thinking, but Ageha stopped me at the last moment.
Owie, don't do it.
She shook her head in frustration.
Don't get in the way of their work. It's already too late anyway.
With those words, Tobioka laughed.
Bro, oh my god, bro. Oh my god. See what I want is I want somebody to make like a mod for this game, specifically where it's just a scene of us absolutely pummeling the shit out of Tobioka. This antagonistic son of a bitch. Like, bro, how are you gonna hate on our club? We are literally a group of high schoolers who managed to build and fly a plane that relies purely on the wind and updraft in order to fucking fly. And you're gonna hate us for that? Like he said, we were already too late. And I'd finally found something that I wanted to do. Losing this is just too much. Yeah.
Ageha hardly said anything. She just quietly watched the garage being demolished. And I...
Hey, Aoi-kun!
I climbed over the no-entry fence and walked into the garage. Hey you, what are you doing? It's dangerous! The foreman from before rushed over, flustered.
Excuse me, just a moment,
I said and pushed him aside. Then I stepped into the half-destroyed garage. The foreman hurriedly stopped the machinery.
Aoi-kun, Aoi.
The inside of the garage was crushed. All our memories were smashed to smithereens.
I rummaged through it emotionlessly and picked up the things I was looking for. Sorry about that. It's okay now. I bowed my head to the workers and stepped outside the no entry sign. Let's go.
Damn! Damn! We're gonna stop there. I hate to do it to y'all. Holy guac. What? Dude, I was literally just sitting here at the beginning of this fucking video like, oh yeah, I think we're nearing the end of the game. But no, apparently we're not. This fucking old bastard, bro. This old motherfucker is really trying to crush our dreams. Dude, what the fuck? And this is all because he has some kind of fucking personal grudge against Amane and against, for some reason, the Soaring Club. I don't know why the fuck he has this fucking grudge against us. And it's not even like we got to clear anything out. Like, I'm pretty sure our glider is still in there, just under all that rubble. And all of it was just destroyed. What the actual fuck, dude? All of that fucking work for literally just for this old jealous motherfucker to waltz in and just demolish it all because of some fucking personal agenda. Oh, gee, that pisses me off, dude. Holy shit. I mean, like, I'm genuinely sitting here like, what is next, you know? Like, are we gonna rebuild? I mean, we have to rebuild the club. Ah, fuck. I don't know, man. Maybe we can call in Amane's dad for some favors, you know? Like, he's a famous inventor. Maybe we can like sway him somehow. Or I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, right? The primary cause of our problems is Tobioka. So if he were to just, I don't know, disappear, maybe we wouldn't have to worry so much anymore. That's all I'm saying. All right, well, fuck me. God damn it. Okay, well, that's gonna be it for this time, I guess. A nice little note to end things off on. That's gonna be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like on the video and tell me in the comment section below what you'd like to see me play next. If you enjoyed this video or any other videos of the series on my channel, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you'll be notified when a new one of those videos comes out. Anyways, that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.